Hello, lovers. How you are doing today? I trust you're staying safe. As you know, the pandemic is still out there. Okay, so please do stay safe. I am Grace Renner, and you're welcome to this episode of Finding Love, where I bring you useful insights that will guide you on your journey to finding love. Now, the name Finding Love. Growing up at some stage in my life, finding love became my major focus, and it made me expose myself to loads of books, advice, relationships, experiences, and of course, the Bible that shaped my journey. And I'm so delighted to use this as a platform to educate you, to inform you, and to share my journey with you, and to see how we can learn and grow together. Okay, on the previous episodes of Finding Love, we talked about everything we need to know about going on dates, and we started on planning. We said involve God in your journey, make an effort to look good. We said meeting at a neutral position, at a neutral location, just to make sure that you are safe, because your security is the most important thing. So we moved on from planning, and today we're talking about the execution. Okay, so I'll be right back. We're talking about everything you need to know about going on dates, part 2, the execution. Now, there are two aspects to be focusing on today, which is etiquette and the conversation. Now, moving on, etiquette. Number 1, make sure to be on time. There's nothing as disrespectful, as showing up late, whether to a date or to a meeting or whatever. It's always very good to be on time. It shows that you have respect for whoever it is that you're meeting, And if for any reason you be late, it's so easy. Just send a text across, oh, sorry, I'll be late. Or put a call across, oh, sorry, I'll be late, okay? Because like the Bible says, do unto others what you want them to do unto you, So you do not want someone to keep you waiting, So as much as possible, try to do unto others what you want them to do unto you. Show up early at your date. Be on time, okay? It shows really that you are a courteous person, okay? Number 2, make sure to go prepared, okay? Never show up on a date or go out at all without money on you, okay? Whether as a guy or as a girl. Now, for the sake of emergencies or unforeseen contingencies, it's very important that you hold money on you. Even if your date has told you, oh, come, I'll pay for your cab, still hold enough money that will take care of your cab. And also hold enough money that will take care of whatever it is that you'll be treating yourself to on that date, because you never can tell. Your date might misplace his wallet or her wallet. Your date might, even forget to bring it along. Okay, so you don't want any form of embarrassment. So it's very important that you carry enough money on you. I'll share a personal example with you. I think I went on a date with somebody in 2014. We had planned to meet at some Chicken Republic somewhere, and I drove there. And we got there. He said, oh, he feels like eating something local. There was some place at Yaba. So we said, oh, let's leave my car. Let's go local. Let's use Keke Napep. And we took the Keke Napep along. And we took a Keke Napep along. And as we got to where we were buying the local food, he checked his pockets, couldn't find his wallet. Checked all around him, he couldn't find his wallet. They had already served the amala, so I had to pay for it. I thank God I had my money on me. I had some money on me. Okay. We even traced the wallet back to the Keke Napep bus stop, and we couldn't find the wallet. Now, if I had not held money on me, it would have been so embarrassing, not just for him, but for me as well. Because of course they had already served us the amala, So for things like this, even though he had the intentions of paying, it was important that I held money on me. So in cases like this, when you've been asked to come out on a date, just make sure to hold money on you. No matter the promises, oh, I'll pay for your cab or pay for whatever, ensure to carry money on you. And then there's something else that some ladies do. Sorry, I have to point it out. That is not good. Now, when you have planned to go on a date with a guy and you have in mind that you want him to pay for your cab, discuss it with him before he comes out. Before you come out, do not, and even before he comes out as well, because he might put enough money to cover for himself and maybe for whatever it is that you guys be treating yourselves without considering, oh, your cab money. Now, don't just come out of the cab and then just expect him to pay for it. It might not be convenient for him, it might put him in a tight corner or even be somewhat embarrassing. Okay, so don't just show up in a cab and expect him to pay and say, oh, this the cab, pay for it. No. Discuss it with him. Let him know, oh, sorry, I do not have money on me to take a cab. I'll be taking a cab. Hope you don't mind paying for my cab. I do not have the money to pay for it. You know, if he's an understanding person, he'll say, no, it's fine. If he doesn't have the money for it, he might tell you, okay, you know what, let's fix this some other time. I'm not, financially buoyant for such, a date and stuff like that. But make sure there's some form of communication about cab payment and who's taking care of the transportation, so that you do not put him in a tight corner, or maybe it might be the other way around, or put her in a tight corner. Okay, so that was number 2. Make sure to go prepared. Number 3, do not show up on a date with a friend or any extra at all. It is not a good thing. Okay, it is not appropriate, except your date specifically says, oh, bring somebody along, bring a friend, bring a sister or whatever. Do not carry somebody else along, because of course you're going on a date with someone to get to know them better, to have conversations. Carrying a third party along would hinder that, that free flow of communication, that conversation that you guys are supposed to have to get to know each other better. So as much as possible, do not go along with a friend. Don't tag anybody along on your date. Besides that, it might not be convenient for the person to foot the bill of yourself, himself, and your friend or your extra. Okay, so you don't want to put somebody else in a tight corner or make your going on dates inconveniencing for somebody else. Okay, so as much as possible, when they say come out on a date, go alone. Sister, go alone. Brother, go alone. Let me share an example. I met a guy in 2015. I was in a production somewhere, my show at the time, and he was at the location. A very nice, good looking guy, calm, and all. We got talking. He seemed like a very nice person. We exchanged numbers, and he said he would like to see me again. Now I couldn't see him immediately, like maybe the next day or the day after, because I had to travel to India. So but when I traveled, we were still talking. And then when I was going to come back, he said he didn't mind, picking me up at the airport. A very kind gesture, really appreciative of it. And when I got back, he said, oh, we'd like for us to see. Now I was still very jet lagged, but he had made a lot of effort. And I said, you know what? I would pull myself out of my house, because even the next day after the shoot, I still had another shoot. The next day after I arrived in Nigeria, I had another shoot again in Nigeria. So I didn't even have time to rest. But I said, this guy has made so much effort, let me also make an effort. So I forsook all the tiredness and the jet lag and everything, and decided to go out on a date with him. I'm going on the date. He brought 2 people along, his cousin and his friend. Now I was looking, okay, what's happening here? If this guy told me we're going to have a family meeting, I would have brought my own family. I have 7 siblings, would have all come for the date. But no, he had been telling me, oh, he wants us to have a one-on-one meeting. Let's see, talk. He likes me, wants us to have a conversation. Let's go to where we can just sit down and talk. So I thought, okay, this was what it's going to be about. Now, bringing his friend and cousin along wasn't even the major issue. Let me now gist you. He brought his friend and his cousin along. His friend sat down, his cousin sat down, introduced them and everything, and then his friend took a drink and said, okay, we're going to the car. So I thought, okay, the cousin would take a cue from there and go to the car. But no, it was a cousin that ended up toasting me on his behalf, telling me, oh, this is my cousin, he's a very wonderful guy, he has not really been lucky relationships, this one, that one, I really like for you to date my cousin. I was not wondering, what's so happening? A grown-up adult like this guy will bring his cousin on a date to come and help him toast me. I just felt that was very immature and very sneaky. After that date, that was it. I disconnected from him, because what would I be doing with you? You're not serious. Why would your cousin come and toast me on your behalf? Why would you even bring people along for a date? Now, I've forgiven you for that one, and then your cousin is now the one, toasting me on your behalf, So it's not a good thing at all. When someone says come out on a date, do not take another party with you, except the person says, oh, it's okay to come up along with a friend or with an extra. Fine. But if not, don't forget that the goal of your going on date is to have, create an avenue to have conversations, to get to know each other better. Okay. And do not also forget that it might not be financially convenient for that person to foot the bill of you and your friend. They might not have planned for it. Okay, so it's just common courtesy to go alone. Or I'm about to shake a table. When you go out on a date, please be considerate of what you order. Now, going on date is not a time to go and start ordering all the three-course meal or the pricey drinks or the fancy things. That's not the whole idea of going on a date. It's important that you are very moderate in your order. Okay, consider the person that you're going on a date with, because at the end of the day, after that date, you might not really consider the person someone that you might want to have something to do with. Now, it will not be fair on the guy or on the lady or whoever it is that is paying to have spent so much on you, and then you're now saying, sorry sister, sorry brother, I'm not interested. That would be very, very unfair. Okay, and a lot of people do these things. You've seen this guy that you're not interested, but you're like, let me go and eat his money. Sister, it will catch up with you. Oh, don't do it. Oh, so if you know that you're going on date with somebody, go on date for the right reasons. Be moderate when consider when you're ordering. Consider, if you were the one paying, you would want to be subtle with your orders. You want to order what you can easily afford without cringing. Okay, so please, when you go out on a date with somebody, be careful, be considerate of what you order. Be very moderate, be very subtle, be very kind with your ordering, so that the person doesn't cringe when they're bringing out the money to pay. Okay, whether you think the person can afford it or not, it's just common courtesy. Just be kind, be considerate. Consider what you order. Be very moderate. Moderation is the word. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5, please keep the alcohol to a minimum when you go on a date. Okay, that's not the time to start getting drunk or overindulging really. Now, there's sometimes people are nervous and they just keep taking alcohol. Now, be guided. Okay, when you go on a date and you're nervous, that's not the time to get drunk or start taking too much alcohol. Okay, or whether it is that you're having a good time with the person, be very careful also not to overdo it, not to overindulge. Now, I always lay emphasis on security. Whoever it is that you're going on a date with for the first time is typically a stranger. Okay, so you don't want to get drunk and put your life in the hands of someone that you do not know. Okay, so as much as possible, avoid getting drunk, avoid drinking too much. I mean, it doesn't even speak well of you when you overindulge in alcohol. It's just a first date and then you're getting drunk or you're getting tipsy or you're over drinking. That's not the essence of what the date is about. Okay, so avoid taking too much alcohol. Yes, you like alcohol, no doubt, no problem, but do it moderately. Okay, and also do not forget that your first impression matters a lot. What you give off matters a lot. Okay, you do not want to send the impression that you have no self-control or you're drunk. Okay, so it's important that you do everything in moderation. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. The focus is the conversation, the reason that you've come out on this with that person. Okay, number 6, and the final aspect of etiquette: be yourself. Be comfortable in your own skin. Be yourself. Everyone is unique in their own way. Okay, so be yourself. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about how you see life. Be honest about your perspective on things. There's no need to be forming all this forming. Trust me, if you can't keep up with it, so just be yourself. You want to be real just as much as you want the other person to be real. Be yourself. Now, I was thinking of an example to give, and I just remembered growing up, I was really young. I think I was in primary school, maybe primary 5, maybe in JSS1, I'm not sure. Now, this wasn't a date, okay, but it's just something that every time I remember, it reminds me consciously to be myself and not to be apologetic of who I am. Okay, now I remember I had a neighbor. Now, my sister is born April 18th and he is also born April 18th. He wanted to take her, celebrate her birthday with her. We were really young at the time, so when she told me about it, I was like, I'm coming, and she should take me along. So she took me along, I think that was my first time actually sitting down in an eatery to eat with a stranger. Okay, not stranger per se, it was my neighbor, okay? But normally you be comfortable with your own family, you can use your hand or eat it any way you want to eat. But him just being around made me very self-conscious. I was no longer myself. And when it was time to eat the chicken, because I saw him using fork and knife, I didn't know how to use fork and knife at the time, you know. I just felt the need to use fork and knife. I was struggling with it, and it was a very big chicken. I was struggling with it, and struggling with it, and struggling with it. Finally, I struggled to the extent that the chicken left my plate. The whole rice spilled all over the table. It was so embarrassing. And one part of the chicken I didn't even get to taste, because after it happened, I just gave up on the food and I left it. And it was so embarrassing. I stopped. I had to stop eating, and I was thinking about it every time, like, why did I have to make, I mean, I was very little. I could have just used my hand to just tear this chicken, and eating it. Everybody would have been fine and I'd have eaten my chicken. But no, I wanted to do what he was doing. I wanted to use my fork and knife and everything. I mean, thank God I know how to use fork and knife now. But it's not a big deal if you go on a date and you cannot use it and you use your hand. Any guy that would be least impressed about you or not be impressed with you because you don't use fork and knife is very superficial. Sorry to say, but it's true. I mean, what has fork and knife got to do with someone's character? Okay, so that is just one example about you being yourself. Think about it. When you go on a date with somebody, there's no need to form. There's no need to try to be like the person or to be who you're not. If you have to apologize and say, "Oh, sorry, I don't know how to use fork and knife," or "Sorry, I haven't traveled before," or I don't know what you're talking about," it's fine. That's who you are. Okay, don't try to be someone else. There's something my sister or my brother, yeah, my younger brother always says. He always says, it's better to be disliked for who you are than to be loved for who you're not. It's such a strong word, and it is true. Okay, so it's important that you're yourself. Okay, so we've been talking about the execution aspect of going on a date, part 2. Okay, so but because of time, I'll have to stop here. I'll pick up from here when we see you again next time. I remain Grace Renner. See you again.